Hey y'all, chances are if you are seeing this, that means you either intentionally or stumbled upon this week's episode of Worship Wednesday. I do not take it lightly. I do not take it for granted. I will forever and always be humble, grateful, and thankful that you keep coming back, that you decided to come back in 2025 to see what God is doing in and through my life, but told through a profession of dance. As always, I'm glad you're here, and I am glad that God continues to speak through me. I'm gonna be honest, so if this goes in the order that I think it will go in, even if it was the week before and I said, you know, I was in the studio, I'm feeling sentimental, things of that nature. So this is the same shoot day, obviously just released a week apart. So after I finished working on Even If, both context video and dance, I was kind of sitting around the studio and just like taking it all in, right? And one of the things I struggled with, actually, God answered a prayer twofold. Number one of the things I struggled with is, if you're around for the other Worship Wednesday, I'd be like, is God still gonna speak to me? Is God still gonna say stuff to me? Am I still gonna be able to find connections to songs? Am I gonna continue to live this out? And number one, I need to stop operating in that fear, because if God really let me to do this again, he will continue to work it out, both with music and with context videos. Like, God will make it happen regardless. Even if he got to give me the wherewithal and the endurance to stand out in the cold until the springtime. Preferably he won't, but if that is what it has to come down to, I believe that God will equip me for it, right? And so that's one of the things I kind of teeter-totter and battle with. The second thing is, there's a statement that I wanted to say in terms of a context video statement that I wanted to say, and then elaborate on. But I was like, there is no song that I could think of that would like go in alignment with what this statement is, or what I want to say, or how I want to frame the dance, or frame the context videos. What dance would I do, right? That kind of thing. And I had kind of thought of some songs that I had already done last year-ish. And I mean, there's no rules that say I can't use songs that I've danced before, but like, that's a me thing. So again, if God says that, then like, I'll get over myself, obviously. But as of right now, God's doing a new thing. I just heard that. God's doing a new thing. It's a new thing. It's a new thing. New thing, new songs, new messages, same God, right? So I just gotta trust God and believe that he will do this, you know, like he will execute. If I am willing and I am obedient, that God will carry this out, right? I say all this to say, this is how God answered my prayer in twofold. At one time. So I was clicking through, I already have like a potential dance playlist for this. And so I was clicking through because I was like, I'm in the studio, I might as well get a couple done, right? And so I was toggling between another song and how I wanted to frame that context video. Because again, I'm trying to be very careful and intentional with my words, and prayerful that it's spirit-led and not self-led, right? So I was kind of praying and thinking on that, and I stumbled onto another song that I don't know where I got it from. I don't know when I put it on a playlist. It wasn't downloaded to my phone, so that's how I know that like I must have heard it, been impacted by it, and just added it to that specific potential dance Worship Wednesday playlist. And so it's beautiful because it basically sums up both of my concerns into one, right? So this song is simply trusting in God. And so here is the context. Here's the framing in which I want to say, but I want to be intentional and careful how I say it, right? So in previous Worship Wednesday land, at some point I remember saying like in 2022, honestly, all the 2020s are a blur or mushed together. It's been an interesting, crazy 5 years, if I do say so myself. So in 2022, I made a vision board, right? And there's this quote that from a Jennifer Hudson song where she says, "I dream about where all the broken pieces fit together," right? And so I had taken my vision board and I had cut it out like shards of glass and then glued it on another board as if the pieces were coming together. Each shard of glass piece represented an area of my life. So one was financial goals, one was professional goals, one was creative goals, one was academic goals, one was personal goals, one was like self-care and wellness goals, the other one was like home goals, family and friends goals, relationship goals. Like, so they all had this piece. And then I left, oh, God works in crazy ways. I left this one piece, right? And that was just blank. And when somebody asked me, well, why? Like, is it not done? Is it not finished? Like, why do you have this one blank piece? And I was like, because I want to be intentional in making sure I know that when I make room, that I want to make room for, these might be my plans, but like making sure that I'm intentional, you know, like God still has the final saying. He has space to do whatever he needs to do in my life. Oh man, did he do whatever he needed to do in my life. And so I had been anti-vision board since 2022, right? And it took some dealing with myself to be like, I'm fearful for like setting myself up for disappointment, right? Because everything that happened, every single area that vision board spoke on in 2022 got attacked, was completely undone, was moved around, shifted in ways that I couldn't have fathomed or imagined, right? And so in the most temper tantrum, selfish, carnal flesh way, I didn't get anything I wanted or anything I thought I wanted, or this wasn't how I planned or how I thought it would look, or whatever the case may be, right? So I hadn't done a vision board since. And then I had kind of been dealing with that. And so going out of 2024 and into 2025, my goal was to have a vision board party because I thought it was time to face my own foolishness and kind of like buck up and do what I need to do. But it never happened, and it didn't happen for a lot of like outside factors. It wasn't like I ever completely convinced myself not to do it. And it's still January, so I'm not even saying that I won't do it. But it also gave me some time to sit back and reflect, because I was thinking about, well, what do I want to put on a vision board for 2025? What do I want to put on a vision board for my life 2025 and beyond? Like, what are some things beyond like bucket list items, like places I want to travel to and things I want to do? Like, what are my goals, aspirations, hopes, and desires, right? And so at some point I was having a conversation with somebody and I was like, well, I don't really have any dreams. I don't really have any, like, not that I don't have any aspirations, but like, I'm out here like just trying to figure things out and plan accordingly, right? Trying to resurface from some aftermath and consequences of my own actions, or, you know, from some things that caught me off guard, right? And so that sentence, right, I want to reframe and repurpose. Because I don't have any dreams. It sounds mad depressing, mad sad, mad like somber and upset, and I want to reframe it in a sense that that's not how I feel. Like, maybe if I had said it before when I was like really struggling with 2022, I might have been like, well, I don't have no dreams because I might have been hopeless. There's nobody. There was a few seasons in there where I was hopeless, where I was depressed, where I was sad, you know, and where I genuinely didn't care. Like, I wanted life to be better, but I didn't know what that meant. And because I had no like way of seeing it through or seeing it out, I was just like, whatever happens, happens. And that's not where I'm coming from. And so I want to be really intentional when I frame this, because I don't mean it like that. And there's lines in the song that's just, I'm just out here trusting God. I'm just out here believing the promises he told me. That's why. I don't know when I put the song on my playlist. I don't know why I put the song on my playlist. I don't know where I got the song from, but that's why. That's why that song is on my playlist. And that's why I don't have any like, I want to do this by this day. I want to do this by this day. You know what I want? I want to be the most committed and the most aligned in my spiritual walk with my Father that I've ever been. And because the Bible says, seek first the kingdom and all its righteousness, and all other things will be added unto you, I believe that the dreams, the hopes, and the aspirations will come because he will give me alignment to what he has for me. When the Bible says he will give you the desires of your heart, it's not that every selfish and every desired thing that we want naturally, carnally, will be ours, but that we will be so in tune with what he wants for our lives that he will be able to make that the desire of our heart, because what he wants for us is good. What he wants for us is his will, his perfect will. And so I'm clicking through these songs and I'm struggling with all these things, battling in my mind, going back and forth with all these concepts. And I'm wondering if God will still use me. And the answer is he will. The answer is he will, because I'm being genuine and authentic in my pursuit of him. I'm trying to be as committed as possible to him. And I'm trying to maintain and be consistent in my pursuit of him. And because of those things, I believe that all the other things will come. So I'm just out here trusting God. I'm just out here believing the promises he told me. I am just out here trying to reconnect with my Father and understand God on a new level and have him reveal to me myself on a new level. And whether that's in relationships to others, whether that's in relationship to him, whether that's how I show up for people, like whatever this journey is gonna be, I want to surrender and succumb to it, and not in a way that makes me fear and makes me anxious and makes me upset, and not in a way that I feel completely unraveled and undone and derailed like I had in years prior, but in a way that says, Lord, if this is your will, I surrender. If this is your way, I surrender. If this is your purpose, I surrender. I don't understand it, but I trust you. And I'm thankful because I just be worried sometimes, and I used to even beat myself up about that, like even being worried or being anxious, but like I'm constantly reminded over and over again that God will use it as an opportunity to show up for me. That as I continue to open the door to be spoken to, as long as my soil, so to speak, remains receptive, that he will take the seeds, plant the seeds, water, cultivate, whether it's through devotion time and personal time, whether it's through conversations, whether it's through sermons, whether it's through worship and other types of spiritual experiences, Christian experiences, events, whatever the case may be. Like, I believe that God can use anything and anyone, most importantly, when you are opened and you are humbled and you are surrendered to him. And so I just want to trust him in that. So I'm just out here trusting God. So when you encounter me and you ask me what I want out of 2025, my answer will simply be him. And understand that, as simplistic as that may seem, and understand that even if it doesn't sound like it's the most thought out or reasonable response, also understand that I am standing on the promise of seeking first the kingdom and all its righteousness, and all other things will be added unto you. And so my resolve is to be content, consistent, and really intentional about how I'm waiting, and not so much what I'm waiting for. And I'm gonna be okay with that. We're gonna be okay with that. It's gonna be a good day. And so, I'm thankful for this space. I'm thankful for this time. And I am thankful for you all. So as always, I pray that something that I said or some movement that you saw gives you something to talk about with God today. I pray that you are able to take it a step further and have conversations with others as to why you believe and what you're out here trusting God for in this brand new year of 2025 and beyond. I pray that anything that I said that was not of my Father, you charge it to my rambling and not the heart of my Father. And as always, prayerfully, I will see you again next week. Thank you. This has been your weekly episode of Worship Wednesday.
Why would I think that I can't handle this so long? When so many things in my life was going wrong. People I love made promises they didn't keep. It wasn't the first time. I should have known better, tried to do better.